For this drawing, I'm using Bristol board from Strathmore and red pens. I've got 3 different sizes: a fine tip, thick tip, and a little bit just the regular one. And to start, I use a grid to help anchor in the proportions. Next, using light pressure, follow along your pencil outline with your pen, and then we will erase these. And start building in a little bit of tone. I did use a ruler to help keep my lines nice and straight. So we're starting to hatch in our first layer of tone, and you'll see that I'm going with the shape of the cherry. I'm not just going to go straight left and right, straight up and down. I'm kind of curving my hatches so that it helps to look more rounded. So after you've got a first layer down, it looks about like that. And I'm doing the same all throughout the back where it's on some, like a picnic table or something like that. And we, after we've got a little bit of the tone down, I'm going to introduce some wood grain textures. And you can use a tissue or your finger as you get more tone on the paper to sort of blend. And you can do that when you have a few layers down of ink. And then you can also erase where the highlights are to keep that part of the paper real nice and clean. Using the 1.6 millimeter tip pen, I'm putting down some thicker ink, and you can notice a very big difference in the tone. It's really rich, really dark, and will work a nice blend from that thick value into our highlight values. And a cherry isn't a real spherical thing. It's got some shapes and some places where it's flat. You can see subtle reflections of the world around it. So trying to keep all of that in mind. And the stem, keep that in mind. It's sort of a piece of, it has some wooded, splintery texture at the tip. But keeping all that in mind, start building in some more layers on top of the initial ones. Building up the nice rich texture. In the background you can see the wood grain coming together a little bit, giving the impression of a nice picnic table. And underneath the cherry you can see a bit of a cast shadow, trying to reinforce that with some heavier ink. And again, going around the edges, I'm using the fine tip pen, and it's real fine point. It really puts a nice sharp bead of ink down. I really like that one. So going through final touches, I did do a lot of layers on the cherries themselves to give it the subtle reflections. And here's our final drawing.